Hey guys, welcome to our review of Doom. Some fucking film shit.
So unlike previous Doom games, this game does try to kind of intervene a story into the game. However, this story mostly just serves the purpose of kind of giving the protagonist, or I don't know if I call him a protagonist, but the main character of the game, the Doom guy that you play, a reason to be there and a reason to do what he does. I obviously didn't expect much of a story from Doom anyways, because it's never been about a story.
Yeah.
But when it did kind of take off for kind of the first, I'd say, third of the game, I was actually kind of interested in what was going on.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, to my disappointment, fell pretty flat towards the last half of the game. But all being done, you're not playing Doom for a story, so that's not why you're here, and the reason that you're here is actually really good, but we'll get more into that. And what you can expect from the length of the game, for most people, is going to be about 12 hours. So it's pretty decent, kind of lines up with most linear first and third person games out there. So
yeah. If you're a huge explorer, could bump it up or play Nightmare on the first try. You never played a Doom game. That could be frustrating and long. But I digress. For the 12-hour campaign, though, the pacing I thought was actually fairly decent. Like, you got good variety of enemies for the most part. Your weapons were pretty good. The upgrades we'll talk about a little later. All kind of came in at a nice pace. You always felt like, oh yeah, I got a new cool upgrade. I got a new cool gun. And then all of a sudden you got a big bad enemy you got to take down with it too. So it usually felt pretty good.
Yeah.
That way. Near the end, it kind of felt like it could have added, maybe one more enemy in there.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit more into why the pacing fell flat, but for the most part, it was a very solid campaign in that aspect as well.
Don't get me wrong, though. It was fun the whole.
This
100%.
Is one of the most fun first-person shooters that I've played in my entire life. It is balls to the wall, crazy action, nonstop. We'll get more into that. It's really awesome. One of my biggest complaints with the game, especially in the campaign aspect of it, is that it doesn't take itself seriously at all. And now I know that Doom was never meant to be a super serious game, but the original Doom 1 and 2 and even 3, all of those had really gothic, kind of dark themes. It was creepy,
really
eerie. The music was... It felt like a mixture between like Diablo and like... I don't know, like it was like very Diablo-ish in terms of how gothic it was and stuff like that. And you get none of that creepiness here, none of that tone here. It's very sarcastic, and it feels like a mixture between like Duke Nukem and...
Duke Nukem meets Diablo pretty much.
Yeah, it's not in the way that it's like any like over-sexualized humor or anything, but it just is very sarcastic. There's not a tone of creepiness in this game.
Yeah, they pretty much made the game to be like, you're a badass. Here's a gun. Go kill hordes of zombies and possessed and demons.
Yeah. I wish it was a little bit more confident in what Doom used to be. But that being said, very good campaign overall.
Okay, so for gameplay for the campaign, you got obviously guns.
Lots of guns, big guns.
You also got a crazy amount of upgrades. Actually, something I was not actually expecting.
Me neither.
For a Doom game at all. So you got runes, secrets, obviously to get more guns or to help you upgrade your guns. And then to upgrade you got Argent cells that kind of help you get capacity for your health, armor, and ammo. Yeah. And then you got Praetor suit chips, I think it's called.
Yeah, Praetor or something like that.
Yeah, it just kind of gives you like general like environment, like you can walk through fire a little longer because it doesn't take as much damage, or you can charge up your grenades more. You actually refill grenades, you don't actually pick them up like most ammo in the game. You actually have to, pick up like shotgun shells, rockets, and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and as a real quick note there as well, like I thought the weapon upgrades in this game gave it a really fun and kind of unique twist, and id was able to show off what they were able to think of when it comes to making guns even more badass than they already are, because every single gun in the game you can mod in at least 2 different ways, I think.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stick to those mods. You can interchange them during the gameplay to whatever situation is best for that, and it's really, really, really cool.
Yeah. And then when you're using your guns and going around the map, you actually got key cards and skulls that open up doors. So it actually kind of gives the game not a super linear feel, kind of like Halo kind of feeling, which isn't a bad thing, but you actually have to kind of like, venture around and find skulls in hell to like smash them into the door or whatever, or key cards from humans in a more human environment on Mars.
Basically, these skulls and key cards allow you to progress to the next section of the game.
Yeah.
Without, like, with adding a little bit, I don't want to say like puzzle to it, but you do have to kind of go around, scout the area, find these key cards and skulls in order to get to the next part. And it gives it, like Sam said, kind of a non-linear feel where if the game didn't have those aspects in it, you'd just be going from point A to B to C constantly. Yeah. And this way you actually got to be like, oh crap, there's a blue door here. I don't have the blue key card. Yeah. I better find it so I can get on. So yeah, it's pretty cool that way. If you've played Doom 1 or 2 before, which hopefully you have, because if you're interested in... Yeah, even Doom 3, I guess. Those games, well, more so Doom 1 and 2, were just open areas without compasses. So they gave it a very open world feel where you really had no idea where you were going. You had to find out by just going into the level and trying, trial and error through it.
Yeah, just run around.
Yeah, whereas here, the key cards kind of lose their pizzazz a little bit because you kind of know where you have to go anyways, and those key cards are always along the path, it seems like. I mean, sometimes they're a little bit off the path, but for the most part, you don't really have to explore too much here because you got this compass constantly telling you this is the general direction you got to go.
Which isn't too bad.
Now, for finding secrets and stuff like that, that's very hard to do. They're very well hidden, and in this game, you could lose hours just looking for the secrets and other items or finding guns before you actually are supposed to get them, stuff like that. That we were talking about pacing before. What gave it kind of a lack of pacing for me was for the first like 2/3 of the game, you're constantly getting new weapons, new upgrades. There's these things that we're talking about called rune trials where you got to go in and complete kind of like a objective in order to get upgrades for your character. And about a little more than halfway through the game, you basically have maxed out everything to a practical level. You've also basically got all the weapons in the game, and you've seen basically all the enemies in the game. So after that point, there's nothing really to look forward to in terms of new gameplay or new mechanics. Like, you've seen everything, done everything. Yeah. And it's still, don't get me wrong, really fun the rest of the way through because then you get to use all those weapons and upgrades that you got. But it does give it a little bit of a lack of pacing because it just becomes like a pure shooter of you have nothing to do but clear a room, right? So
me and Ansgar, for example, didn't really get many secrets, and I'm assuming if you start grabbing a lot of secrets, you could be pretty much maxed out pretty quick. Yeah. For the most part, the mods, you have to kind of choose the mods maybe, but for the most part, you could probably be on your mastery of your gun mod pretty quick. It wasn't like mind-blowingly great, kind of like, I thought Uncharted, we just did that. That was really nice. This was really good. It's just, some of the enemies kind of seem a little cartoony, in my personal opinion. I thought also some of the, like, maybe kind of like Hell or Mars kind of weren't up to snuff of what I was thinking, kind of like what Ansgar was saying before about the gothic kind of feel. Like, it just kind of felt like Hell was just kind of more bloodier version of Mars, to be completely honest. But it was still cool. It was still like walking around and seeing all this crazy skulls and stuff all over the place. It was really cool. But
yeah, I mean, like, my thoughts on it are, In terms of visuals, the game is very appealing to the eye. The particle effects are really well done, like all the crap flying around, all the explosions, all the gunfire and laser fire and all the different type of stuff in the game is really well done. The lighting system is amazing, one of the best I've seen. Yeah. But it does look, like Sam was saying, a lot like a very clean Halo with blood all over the walls. Like, just imagine if you've ever played Halo, playing through a level of Halo with some high-tech stuff around. Now just imagine there's blood all over the wall. Like, it doesn't have that gothic feel. It's just got a very clean scientific lab type feel. And Hell, on the other hand, just kind of looks like Mars meets a desert with some like old architecture. There's a little bit of
there's a few spots. There's a few spots where it's like, damn, that looks sick.
Pretty sick, yeah.
The one level
with the Titan,
the Titan realm level, I thought was probably one of the, like, when you first get there, you're like, holy cow, this is gonna be crazy.
This is badass. I think.
That's just me.
I mean, more Hell levels and definitely more effort into making it look like Hell. At least Hell as it was represented in Doom 1 and 2, which I thought is still one of the best like interpretations of the abstract hell that place is. So what do you get for your money? Quite a bit, like just the single player campaign itself. Again, the first playthrough you'll do, if you're just playing it on kind of a normal difficulty, it'll get you about 12 hours. That's not if you're looking for every secret and everything off the path and beating every rune trial and all this kind of stuff. Then it can take you hours longer, especially if you up the difficulty. You're going to be in the campaign for a very long time, and there's so much to do there. They added so many elements to all the upgrades and trials and weapon upgrades, suit upgrades, this and that. So there's a lot to look forward and a lot of content in the campaign. Yeah. But this game also has multiplayer, so
yeah, based on what I've seen and tried, it seems pretty good. Yeah. It seems like it could actually go some places, especially since it's got Snap Map, which is a map maker from what I can tell, from what I've seen. So,
and we've played a couple of matches here and there, and it's very Quake, like it's obviously very arena based, very Quake-like, fast paced. Yeah. You get the same great feeling gunplay and kind of mechanics that you do in the single player campaign. There's some neat modes in there that make it very interesting. But we're gonna talk a lot more about multiplayer in a completely separate review. Yeah. The game hasn't really been out long enough to really rate the multiplayer, and we haven't played it for the amount of time that we feel you need to play it in order to kind of see the full spectrum of what multiplayer is and how the progression through multiplayer goes and all that kind of stuff.
See if there's some guns that just kind of like break the game.
Yeah.
Or pickups or whatever.
But here for the single player campaign, it is worth the money. Like, there's definitely enough there to justify the price, especially if you're a fan of Doom. And you can definitely replay this game a couple of times, no problem, because there's a lot to see and do. And I think every time you replay it, you're actually going to have a little bit more fun as you learn
the mechanics of the game
and the levels and kind of how to use your weapons better. It becomes really fun. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. We're going to do the multiplayer review as well, like we said. And give us a like if you liked what you saw here. So.
And if you think otherwise about Doom, let us know down below in the comments section.
Yep. If there's anything you think that we missed or that we could do better, let us know as well.
Or maybe even a game we might have to do in the future.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one.